Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015 whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Hey, don't forget to like, listen, subscribe, man. You know what I'm saying? We going now. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff going on.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take full responsibility. We keep on doing this every other week. You know what I mean? But I was on vacation.
Yeah.
My dude held it down while I was gone. We're going to definitely show some of the vacation trips, some of the vacation clips. I mean, I do appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. We definitely got a lot of stuff that we're about to drop. Also, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure y'all tune in. We're doing live shows every Sunday. We would love to hear from y'all. Love to hear, you know, the ups and downs of how you guys feel about what we said during the week or what we didn't say during the week.
Yeah, what news stories is going on in your world. You know what I'm saying? Every conversation you want to have. And I don't even blame you for what happened, right? I blame security because this man went out the country, tried to log in. They was like, nope.
We're not letting you in here. You might be they thinking I'm from some country right now that we'll leave unnamed.
Yeah,
that more than likely has done a lot of hacking or done a lot of fraudulent things in our country.
They was like, nope. He's like, send me some codes. I'm like, they ain't working. I was like, they ain't gonna work, yo. They gonna shut me down too.
Who else did they just shut down? Who else they shut down like that?
Diddy got arrested. So I got a little article here. We all know he got arrested. Diddy anticipating his arrest paid off his mortgage on his $48.5 million mansion. New details about Sean Combs' Miami mansion were uncovered as part of his bond hearing this week. In March, the feds raided a hip-hop mogul Star Island house, where they say they found supplies including narcotics, 1,000 gallons of baby oil, and lubricant for freak-offs, elaborate performances between female victims and male commercial sex workers that prosecutors allege Diddy arranged and filmed. A grand jury indicted Combs on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracies, and illegal transportation of people for sex. He has pleaded not guilty. You know what's crazy? It's like when Bootsy said something, right? And it made sense, but they just jumped on him. He was like, look, if you fly somebody out just to fly them out and y'all having sex, they know what it is. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Man, this is how I feel about it. I've flown women out. Not for the purposes of sex. We don't want to get into that now, but you know what I mean? That's what you do. As a man, you're almost expected to take care of certain things. If you meet someone online or any other setting and they live somewhere else, it's either they're going to fly themselves out or you fly them out, or however it goes, however the arrangement goes between you two. But it's weird that they're acting like this. It's like if I go pick you up from your house, I got to pay for gas still. There's still an expense in that. If I take you out to eat, you know what I mean? And then buy you some drinks. And then all of a sudden we go back. Is that paying for it too? You know, it's just weird.
That's what I be saying, bro. It's like, I don't like to go on dates because sometimes I feel like I'm paying for sex.
But I mean, I think that the total arrangement in life of men and women has always been this way. You know what I mean? Not where you're paying for something, but you know what I mean? Everyone says if a man's 50-50 with you, then this, that, and the third. And women say that's like a moniker for women right now. They say it all the time. It's a big thing. A man should always, you know, us as men, we've been taught to kind of like want to be the provider anywhere it goes.
Yeah.
So if he would have told women, pay your own way to get out here, figure out your own room. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense in reality. I mean, and then they started talking about freak offs. When I was young, we would go to house parties and everyone would bring drinks and there'd be a whole bunch of alcohol in the house. And we kind of knew what was about to happen.
I mean, I had a girl who fly herself out to me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's kind of what she flew out from. I'm not going to say where she came from. It don't matter, but she flew herself out and I expected sex. Like, I didn't buy her ticket. I picked her up with my gas.
With your gas. Ain't it crazy that we have to like explain this? Like, we're grown.
Yeah.
Who cares? I mean, to me, man, I don't even care if he paid for I don't even care.
Yeah,
that's
people
his
do
business.
it all the time.
I mean, yeah, who cares? Who really? Like I said this about Trump when they were like, "Oh, he paid the woman to shut up about the thing." Who cares? Who cares, man? Nobody cares about that kind of stuff. What about those 32 kids who were in Cleveland who were found after they're like being sex trafficked because you found them after all this time? That's what we care about. Go find those type of things that are going on. Don't go find two consenting adults who one of them may have paid for the other one's ticket, but the other one had to go to the airport. They had to go to the air. They had to pack their own clothes, set their own stuff up, and go to the airport. Nobody forced them to go to the airport. Yeah. It's different if someone took something from them when they arrived. If something
like he can't hold hostages. Like people, I said this too. It's like it was easier. It's so much easier now to take people down because black folks are just jumping on it.
We'll be so happy.
I would know Diddy. I feel bad for him. But he's done a lot of stuff. He's
done something. Look, if we, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But the separate thing when you look at it is the Cassie thing. That's separate to me. He did that. And Cassie got a check for it. And
let's look at that too. Think about it.
Absolutely.
The video, she wrote this. She sued him for money. The paperwork got out there. He's like, cool. Hey, y'all pay you whatever. Then they released that video of him fighting or attacking her. He attacked her in that hotel, right? But they waited at the day after the statute of limitation was up. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing, somebody had that tape the whole time.
For years.
It happened, years.
He paid for it, but he paid them, I think,
but
$50,000.
Right? But what kind of
someone else had it?
What kind of step is that? Where they could have released it to have him arrested, but they waited. So you can see it's orchestrated. They're going to take it down, and we're going to make it worse because we just jump on the band.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it at all. I'm like this. And then they put out text messages that a lady put out that she sent to Diddy a day after the Cassie stuff. After Cassie filed her lawsuit or whatever she did, put out all that paperwork on him. The lady sends him a text message. Oh, this makes me feel like I'm reliving something all over again. And I don't know if something happened with that situation or not, so I'm not commenting directly on that. But why are you putting out a text message that was put out the day after this thing is released?
Everybody, they know Diddy got money and everybody want a piece of it. They don't care how bad they make him look at this point. Did he do some dumb stuff? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is he doing dumb stuff right now? No.
I'm like, why are you holding him in prison?
And everyone was fine with it as long as y'all was getting paid.
How are you holding exactly? And how are you holding him in prison? And you're not even accusing him of a murder or anything like that. You're accusing him of something that he should have the right to be out on bond and fight. They're like, oh, he's contacted these other people. Well, they were not victims or witnesses or anything during that time. Not until you filed a case against him were these people victims or witnesses of anything.
Did you see all the people that stepped down within 24 hours of him getting arrested?
Yeah, there's a lot of people's got out of here.
Look, I got the list. Kevin Lyles, music exec, Eric Pryor, president of Fine Arts, Jonathan Holloway, Rucker president, Robert B. Davis, general manager of Martha's Vineyards, Chris Cameron, lacrosse coach, Kathy Newsom, Bay City mayor, Lamika McLiver, New York City councilman. That's all of them. That's all the ones. Yeah, those are the ones. I thought there was more on here.
There are some guys here we go. Sony Music or something too, right?
Allison Green, Tish Dean, Craig Mallard, Fifth Ward, Geneva, Joseph Kushner is a doctor, Mike Foster, president of Nexon Travel, Susie Williams, executive director, Roman Matsuri, he's the CEO, Henry Levitz, chief prosecutor, Matthew Tittlebond, MFA director. Hey, man, they got a lot. There's a lot of people.
In all honesty, man, if they're not messing with kids and they're not raping people, period, I'm gonna say people. I'm not just gonna say women because they say that a lot of men get raped too. So things happen.
Yeah, it happens.
You know what I mean? But
it does.
If they're not doing these things,
I've had a woman sexually assault me once.
I don't mean to say at you. That's horrible that I laughed.
That's how people would say. How could you let her do it? But it was like,
hey, listen, the way you just said it, you made it sound funny. I'm gonna put it towards that. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna keep it real. That stuff does happen. I'd
rather have it sound funny than me sound like a punk that got taken advantage of by a woman. It happens though.
No, it does happen. I can vouch for that myself. That kind of stuff does happen.
You might wake up and be like, "What the hell's going on here?" Yeah.
That's guaranteed money. I've seen it happen in my own personal. I've seen it. You know what I mean? It's just real deal type stuff. But anyway, point of it is,
you seen it. You ain't say nothing. You worse than the diddler.
I didn't see it. It might have been a personal. It might have been a personal.
Switch up your story, sir. Where's your location at? Let us know.
Hey, no, but all honesty, man, I just don't see. I'm like, man, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that comes out with this. Like 1,000 bottles of baby oil. He had a freak off. Who cares?
No, I'm saying
who
like
cares?
This.
You know what I mean?
Show us the evidence. I want to see the evidence. I'm tired of what's that? What do they call it? Judgment. Public opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not doing
court
that.
of public opinion. The court.
I'm not doing that with nobody no more. Show me the evidence. Yeah, no,
this is what they do to everyone. Yeah, that's what I mean. And even okay, I'm listening. 50 Cent. He said something like, he was like, this is something I said to people a while ago. It's this company called Diageo. They're major spirits, which is
with
like alcohol.
Yeah.
Distribution company. Jay-Z hit them for like $1.3 billion lawsuit. He hit them. He won, because what they were doing was they were taking his brands. They were supposed to put them in all their stores. There's like two major spirits distributors. One of them's like Sunroy or something like that. The other one's Diageo. Don't get the other one, the Sunroy, I'm not absolutely sure, but that's the one that 50 Cent had his brands with. Diageo is what had Jay-Z's. They had Ciroc and stuff that and De Leon and stuff that Puffy was with. So what they were doing was they were like, okay, we're going to distribute your alcohol, but they were only putting their alcohol in like urban markets.
Urban areas, yeah.
So they weren't putting it everywhere like they were putting everyone else's brands everywhere. So that means he was like, hey, this is how much money I lost because you were keeping me in urban areas rather than doing what the contract said. And he won 1.3 billion. And right after that, who jumped on that thing next? Puffy was like, damn, they did the same thing to me, which they did. Yeah. But you got to look at Puffy. He had Ciroc. He was an owner, but he was making like 60 million a year off Ciroc. Then he had De Leon and brought his own, and he went and got his own brands of liquor. He had bigger brands to me than what Jay-Z had. Yeah. Ciroc was bigger than anything that Jay-Z. I mean, it may not have cost as much as Ace of Spades, but you were selling way more vodka than what you're selling champagne.
People were dancing with Ciroc in their hands at all times.
So he was probably going to hit for another billion. They're like, oh man, I can go spend $5 million and get rid of you. I can go get this people over here to bring up the stuff that we all know is true about you. You have free. You're known to have freak offs. Black people like, oh my God, freak offs. We have freak nicks.
Think about that. Nicks. You know, Freak Nick wasn't bad at first. You know, Freak Nick was a good gathering.
Off the chain,
if you watch the documentary of Freak Nick, bro, you're like, damn, what it was supposed to be and then what it turned into. And it wasn't supposed to be super freaky like that. It was just you got a bunch of creepy
Listen to the name. Listen to the name, bro. There wasn't just dudes, bro.
You got to watch the documentary. You got to watch the documentary.
Off the chain too. Them girls went off the chain.
You got to watch the documentary. At first, it was just a college party. The colleges got together in the documentary. Then they said what threw it off is that people started coming from out of state that weren't even college, and the dudes were seeing all the women getting dancing and shaking their butts. So the next year they're coming in there, they're grabbing women and doing all stuff. And the city of Atlanta was like, "No, we're not having it." So they would make
there was a lot of rape probably going on.
Sexual assault. Yeah, I mean, not. You got to watch the documentary. It was good. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't. I mean, they talked about one girl. She was like, "Look, I escaped these men. This guy, somebody helped me and pulled over and helped me because she's like, I almost didn't get away from them." Yeah. But like, they made the street where in Atlanta, it's like somehow you had to you missed your turn. They make you miss it. You just keep driving in circles for 5 hours. Some people are running out of gas, and but it wasn't supposed to be freaky. It was just called Freak Nick because they had a picnic, but it's called Freak Nick. Because back then, freak was like,
Nah, bro. Freak back then meant the same thing as it meant today, bro. The mugs was freaky back then. You remember the shirts they used to wear to see through? Come on, brother. We know how they.
When I saw Freak Nick, I saw freaky stuff like women half naked and stuff.
Me too, man. On top of cars, it was going down.
But when you watch the documentary, they tell you, no, it started off as just a college party and they was just kicking it, having a good time.
Listen, I went to a frat party before and the dudes came out, man. It was crazy. Like, it was a fraternity, there's a bunch of different people. There was women and everybody there. But the dude from the frat party, it came out butt naked, dancing to some song. Man, this is what colleges has been about for a long time. We're not going to downplay it, but I know what you mean. They're telling you one thing, but trust me, Freak Nick was not. But anyway, they're talking about Puffy having
you have a visual memory.
That's crazy. That's horrible. But listen, they talking about freak offs. I'm like, man, they showed a bathroom, looked like it had a bunch of baby. I don't know if it was really Puff's bathroom or not, but it looked like luxurious. It looked like it was supposed to. Like if a girl walks in here, she's gonna be like, oh, let me grab a bottle of this baby oil. Man, listen,
isn't that what you're supposed to do? Hey, I'm trying to
don't even know,
man.
Listen, bro.
You know what I'm saying? If there were sexual assaults going on at Diddy's house, people would know. They would come out. They could get paid back then.
Long time ago. Yeah, they got paid from Puffy back when they burnt. They had that house that remember that party he had. Then the building burnt down or some shit, and people got killed. They sued him then. Whenever anything happened back in the day, they would sue him then for it. But to me, I'm like, I won't say nothing ever happened, but I don't always believe it was his fault. Things happen when you're having parties. People do things. You got corners of your house, things happening, shit happens, bro. You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, did you go back to the next party? That's what we need to find out. If you went to more than one and it happened at one before or something like that, I don't believe you. You know
what's crazy? This it might be a conspiracy. Actually, it's a real story. The guy that told it, his name is Illseed. He created allhiphop.com. Is this about Diddy? No. He would never tell me. I asked him years later too, after I'm gonna tell you this story. I asked him years later and he said, no, I still can't tell you. And he's like, the guy's still a predominant person in the music industry in New York. And he was saying that some guy, like a rapper dude, he would invite people over to fly people out or whatever, like dudes or whatever, artists, and get them in a limo, and they drive around a while, and the guys would get drunk, and then he would sexually assault them in the limo after they got incapacitated or whatever, or too drunk to fight him off. But he would never, and I was like, his name's Illseed. Illseed is the creation of all hip-hop gossip sites, because it was allhiphop.com, and then Illseed had the gossip section, and everything comes from that, because the gossip section is what we read now in hip-hop sites and stuff. It's all gossip.
I got you.
Yeah, but I mean, that's one of the stories.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
I mean, now we're gonna definitely have to. I feel like
we're gonna keep you up to date with Diddy.
We got to, man. But let me jump into this one right here. It says Trump-backed North Carolina Republican governor candidate calls himself Black Nazi and perv on porn websites. You remember the guy, this is Mark Robinson, but North Carolina Republican and candidate for governor Mark Robinson received a major backlash after it was reported that he referred to himself as a Black Nazi on a pornography website. The current lieutenant governor has already been marred with scandals and is known for delivering controversial comments. According to an explosive report, Robinson often referred to himself as a perv in the archived messages of the website's chat box. The report suggests that the Republican candidate enjoyed watching transgender pornography. The messages were made between 2008 and 2012 on Nude Africa, which is a pornographic website that includes a message board. Messages from 2010 indicated that he expressed support for reinstating slavery. Slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring it back. I would certainly buy a few, he wrote in October of that year. Meanwhile, in March 2012, when the former U.S. President Barack Obama was in power, Robinson reportedly wrote in the chat box that he would take Hitler over any of the shit that's in Washington right now. And this is the same dude, you know what I mean?
Is that on his burner porn account?
Yeah, man. This is the burner porn account that this guy had, man, from back in 2008 to 2012. This is that loudmouth, man, the one basically Uncle Ruckus, black dude who's lieutenant governor right now currently of North Carolina, who's running for governor, and he's always got something to say. Man, we was better off back in slavery. We should be. I mean, this dude is crazy. Like, bro, you sit around here and you pander so much to these people that you would say we should be in slavery. Some people are better off as slaves. Like I just couldn't even look. You can't even look yourself in the face. That's why you're on here on these transgender sites looking at transgenders. I ain't knocking you for it. You look at all the transgenders you want to, but then don't go back behind them and say that you don't like them and they shouldn't be able to have their own bathrooms, or they shouldn't be able to go to the identity bathroom of their choice. I don't think they should.
Well, that's how it always starts off, dude. It's
however,
like the people that are being the loudest about that are usually the people that are gay because they got to cover up for their stuff. I mean, I look at it like this, bro. I don't mind him trying to cover his tracks on the porn site. You know what I'm saying? That's what I hear about that. I mean, he's a piece of crap, but I mean, like, yeah, cover your tracks. Yeah, I'm a black. Did he say he's a black Nazi on the site?
Yes.
Oh, man, he ain't covering nothing up.
Listen,
was he a gangster?
Who he was. He was being who he was, man. And in 2008, he probably didn't even imagine him getting himself this far until he started saying the worst possible thing about black people that he could possibly say. They started listening to him. You know what I mean?
They're like, we like that as long as someone's saying it. But I'm saying like this, it's like, bro, like, I mean, I know a lot of black Nazis. You know, if we're getting down to it, I know a lot of gangsters, a lot of hood dudes, a lot of real niggas. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You can't be both.
I know what you're saying. I know what
you can be real, but you can't be a nigga too. You know what I'm saying? You're either real or you a nigga. So I mean, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? Would a black Nazi terrorize a black neighborhood? Yes. Would a black Nazi talk about in music that he wants to kill, or would a Nazi talk about in music he wants to kill black people? Yes. That's why they listen to hip hop. That's why everybody likes it. Like, shot that nigga, kill that nigga, burn that nigga, kill a nigga mama. You know what I'm saying? I'd listen to it too. I'll be in my
But this dude right here, man,
he's running for office. Yeah.
No, but he's just like these cats who are like, sometimes you'll see some pastors or people like that. Not saying all the time, but back in the day, you had certain pastors who come out. What was that, like Jimmy Swagger, or what was his name? Something Swagger. Back in the day, he'd come and he was crying. And they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Lord. I think he got caught for being like homosexual or something like that."
Oh, damn!
You know what I mean?
He crying like Van Jones.
It was bad. He was crying worse than Van Jones. It was way worse.
Ain't nobody crying worse than Van Jones.
Like, Lord,
Van Jones be talking like a man. He'd be like, "Yeah, man, I just thought it was." I thought it was the best kind of ice cream I ever had. Van Jones.
But I'm definitely like, man, don't be the person who pushing down or pointing down on one class of people, and then at the same time, deep down in your heart, you're on sites watching that same exact thing.
Well, I mean, sometimes they got to choose. He's running for Republican, isn't he?
He's a Republican.
Of course. Okay, so I mean, sometimes you got to find your niche and just go for it. I mean, Lindsey Graham hasn't come out as gay. You know what I'm saying? And that Laura Loomer said that too. She's like, and she's not the only person that's ever said it. Is he? Oh yeah. She's not the only first person.
I've heard it before too. Yeah, I've heard it plenty of times.
They called him Lady G in the men whorehouses and stuff. But I mean, like, you know, some people just find their niche. I mean, look at JD Vance. Laura Loomer is talking mess about Kamala Harris, and JD Vance's wife is Indian.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He didn't say nothing.
Nothing
at all.
You know what do you say to your kids, bro? Like, what do you say to you know, these are the people you're gonna have your kids around. She's gonna be around. You know what I'm saying? They should have been like, yo,
and he's telling you right now what he's willing to kind of like tuck his tail and take. You're not a man in my book, man. If you let people, to me, I understand that he feels like he's fighting for something greater than, and I honestly feel like this is what I've been saying before, and now other people are starting to say it. JD Vance was the Heritage Foundation's pick. It wasn't Trump. JD Vance is their pick. That's why they got him in there, just like the guy that I forget, it's like Peter Thiel or whatever his name is, Theo, whatever the guy's name, who gave JD Vance all the money, the billionaire.
Yeah.
Helped them get in there. They don't like Trump. They know Trump's really pretty much a raving idiot. They need the guy in there who's their Manchurian candidate, who is JD Vance.
Yeah.
He's gonna follow that agenda. So he knows if I gotta shut the fuck up right now, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and I'm gonna go ahead and do what you tell me to do to get myself in the presidency. And hopefully one of these dudes end up knocking off Trump. You know what I'm saying? a straight hits him, and you know what I mean? That's how he feels.
It's crazy, man. It's like, speaking of that, like let's kind of get into that. You know what I'm saying? It's like both the shooters that, you know, well, the first shooter that, you know, shot at Trump, and then the second guy that was waiting for him, they were both Republicans.
Why am I hearing so much that this is what I'm just asked the question. I'm hearing Republicans, especially Fox News, a bunch of Republicans, even Trump, it's coming out saying that these guys are Democrats, these are liberals who are trying to kill him. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, their rhetoric is trying
Elon
to get
Musk came out, and he was like, "Why is no one trying to assassinate?"
Secret Services are got him under investigation.
Yeah,
he's calling it a joke now. He's calling it a bad joke.
That's a bad joke. Talking about Biden. No, you own Twitter. Every time you post, you make sure everyone sees it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Every time he posts, everybody sees it.
Yep.
There's no, even if I don't even follow this man, and everyone sees it. Yeah. He deleted. It don't matter, bro. He took too long. Screenshots are forever.
It doesn't matter. He did. I mean, if I know that everyone's going to see it, and I know once I put it out there, even for 5 minutes, you're going to get a response. People are going to take that and they're going to put it all plastered everywhere. You know what I mean? Period. He knows what it doesn't matter. You can't delete that. And it's not a bad joke. And when you say, why aren't you trying to assassinate other presidential candidates when you're seeing allegedly this guy's getting shot at? I mean, I want you to go ahead and get into that because I had a couple questions I wanted to ask.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, you know, okay, so first of all, the people trying to shoot him are Republicans. Let's just get that clear. There's no way you can switch that around. The guy voted for Donald Trump. The last shooter voted for him in 2016. He was going, and this year he didn't like Donald Trump's presidency. So this year he was going for Vivek and what's her name?
Nikki Haley.
That's the ticket he wanted. And so, I mean, but he also was registered to vote in Hawaii and another state. But he was a Republican, and he was trying to recruit people. He was pretending to be a recruiter for the Ukraine Defense Force.
Yep.
And so, and they were like, no, he's not with us. He's not done anything.
Hasn't he been in trouble for like terrorist threats too and all kind of other stuff? And they were saying,
I mean, you can pull. I think I sent you something.
They found his Twitter. And then why can he even have a gun? And he has terrorist threats. He's been in trouble for like making terrorist threats. And how he was even able to get a legal firearm?
Because they don't have those laws in the state he's in. That's what it is. Just like Maine. Think about it. Remember the guy in Maine? He was he was crazy. He was talking to himself. He threatened the reserve base, and he had assaults or he had something. He's been to jail, like, you know what I'm saying. But he got to take a gun and go shoot up a bowling alley in another spot because they don't have those laws, those like
background checks and all
background checks, all that stuff, the mental check stuff. They don't have those laws, so that's just what it is. And he had his guns, but he waited for 12 hours. But these people are Republicans; they're not Democrats. They can try to swing it if you don't stay informed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh, the Democrats are trying to kill me so they can just a precursor to a civil war. But it's not what's happening. It's people from inside That's why I think the first assassination attempt was. I think the Republicans are trying to knock him off. They'd rather have Trump as a martyr because they can't control him as a dictator.
This guy has like, he was like doing interviews with like Newsweek and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if that's the exact paper, but I think it was Newsweek. This guy has interviews.
No, he was on a real outlets. Newspaper.
I know, like Newsweek's a real newspaper. You know, that's a pretty big newspaper.
Yeah, no, Newsweek. I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm thinking of the New York Post.
I want to say it was Newsweek, but I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, this dude has like background in all this shit. And nobody thought and then they said that he got up to the fence line, right? I guess he had a bulletproof vest, another bag, and then like he had his, I don't know if it was what kind of gun did he have? They say he had?
He had an AK-47.
So the AK-47, they said he pushed the butt of it through the or push the nozzle of it, the barrel through the fence line.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he took a shot.
No, he didn't get a shot off.
So where we get, do we, like he didn't even get a shot off.
No, he didn't get a shot at, homeboy didn't get a shot at the police.
The Secret Service shot at him. They say all him. But I mean, it took you that long to get to this point to where you had to see the gun through the fence before you start shooting at the dude. Okay. And on top of that, when Trump talked about it, though, he was on X talking about it. He was like, yeah, there was like 3 to 5 shots. And he's not telling you that this was Secret Service shooting. This guy didn't shoot at you at all. You really acting like just people are out here. Me personally, man, I'm starting to believe it less and less.
Yeah.
It's just becoming less and less believable because people are not getting this close to the vice president.
Well, they're saying that because he's not a sitting president and he didn't have Secret Service outside the gate. But I'm like, bro,
Kamala Harris is not a sitting president either.
She's the vice president.
She thinks she got more security than a former president who's running for president right now.
Hold
on. Who's running for president right now and just had an assassination attempt on his life?
She sure does.
I don't know about that one.
She sure does. Of course, she's the vice president running for president, but she's the vice president, and her life is in more of a danger than his. He's not in the government right now. He's running for something. She is the government.
They said that his ear almost gave it. You know what I mean? Like, you think they're not going to give him
that boy got some magic grow ear or something? I didn't see nothing.
I didn't see nothing either.
I didn't see nothing. Hold on. While we're on Trump, I want to add this piece. Did you see the stuff with Trump and Nicki Jam?
I heard about it. I think you told me about it.
Nicki Jam is a Latin star, right? I think he did reggaeton, right? When that was all big or whatever. But Trump was on there and he was like, oh, Nicki Jam's here. Yeah, she's hot. Oh, yeah, she's hot. Where's she at? Nicki Jam, come up here. And Nicki Jam's a dude. So
that was
Nicki Jam gets up there, right? He daps him up, and the Latin community just went in on this fool, bro.
They're like, you don't even know who this dude is
because he's Puerto Rican, right?
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, oh, bro, so that's what you're gonna get when he was taking 3-point shots with the paper towels to us, when the fire was out. Come on, bro. They went. He took his endorsement back. He erased Nicki Jam did because he thought he was a woman. He didn't even care to know who he was, bro. And then his whole community, he's like, bro, they thought he was a woman. Like, that's how much he cares about you, bro. Like, damn, yeah, it was bad.
I didn't know he took his endorsement back for that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not endorsed, but I'm like, listen, if you like him, you like him. He doesn't have to know who you are for you to like him. Why are you mad at him?
Nicki Jam was. He's like, yeah, where's Nicki Jam? She's hot.
I mean, but the thing of it is, though, it's like that doesn't sound like a woman's name when you say it that way. You say Nicki Jam, it does sound kind of.
So do a lot of names.
Nicki Jam, bro.
Yeah,
Nicki Jam. It sounds like a girl's name. I ain't gonna lie. If I'm almost 80 years old,
you can think Kanye West is a girl's name if you didn't know who he was. My name Kanye.
Nicki Jam, Kanye West. You give me one of the two to pick as a woman's name. I'm picking Nicki Jam, brother. Nicki Jam. I'm just saying, if I'm 80 years old and I don't have a background in hip hop music, I might say it was a woman too. You know what I mean? Like,
no one told him, like, hey, Nicki Jam is a dude.
They probably did, man.
He didn't even know who he was. He was like, Nicki Jam's here. He's hot. 80, now they're saying the vote that could sway the country is Bad Bunny right now.
Are you serious? How? Bad Bunny because he's Latin?
Bad Bunny's a megastar.
No, I believe it, but you mean we thinking bad? I'm not thinking any.
I don't listen. I've heard one song by Bad Bunny and it was on a Drake album and it was dope. You know what I'm saying? But they love. I mean that music. That music he makes. That stuff sells.
Don't get me wrong. I mean,
They're trying to get over Taylor Swift, bro. That's what's hurting them all now.
I feel you. I'm gonna say they're willing to take any endorsement. They think that people really listen to artists. I mean, some people do. Some people do. Obviously, she got almost 500,000 people on her first day. I think she got
like 500,000 people to sign to register to vote. You know what I'm saying?
One day, like 406,000 or some crazy stuff like that in one day, which is amazing. I can't take that. But let me go ahead.
Here I want to do this one. Florida sheriff shames 2 more kids after school threats. Is it a good idea? Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chickwood is making good on his promise to arrest and publicly shame children who make school shooting threats. Days after he drew national attention for perp walking an 11-year-old boy, the Florida sheriff posted photos and videos of 2 more teenagers accused of making threats. Chitwood said that the teens, 16 years old and 17-year-old, were taken into custody after posting threats to Snapchat on Wednesday. USA Today is not naming the teens because they are minors. According to the sheriff, the 17-year-old sent photos that said, "I'm going to shoot up the school," with a picture of his school laptop. The 6-year-old replied, "Sane," Clintwood said. We are wasting time and resources on this, Clinton said on his Facebook post. Oh, we are not. It's not fair to 99% of the kids who are doing the right thing. So what happened, right? I was on Twitter and I saw that what he did, like this 11-year-old kid, he had an arsenal. I mean, like he had a lot. They could have been airsoft guns. But he had a lot of airsoft guns and a lot of knives and swords. And he was showing people, and he was like, "Yo, I'm about to fuck the school up. I'm gonna shoot up the school."
I shouldn't be laughing.
So the cops rushed it. They came up to him, arrested him, right? They perp walked him just like they did Cuba Gooding Jr. So a little kid like, he showed his face. They said his name. They perp walked him all the way. They filmed him all the way to prison. You got to watch the whole video, and I'm just like, good. You know what I'm saying? Usually, like, we're protecting the minor's name. Yeah. Nah, bro. He's like, I'm gonna embarrass you.
He's tripping. He's tripping, man. I mean, where you get all the guns from? Exactly. How you got all these guns and knives?
He's 11.
He's 11.
11.
Man.
That boy he had an arsenal.
And he probably would have did it. But the cool part about it is, I mean, I'm happy that he didn't have a smart enough wasn't smart enough to close his mouth about it and just do it. You know what I mean? He wanted to be seen. He wanted the internet to know what it was. You know what I mean? But maybe he didn't want to do it. Maybe that was his cry for help or whatever you call it. I don't know. I mean, they're probably gonna break this little kid off of some serious time though for that.
Oh
and, yeah. And I can't. I mean, maybe they should give him juvenile life or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's 11 though. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on at school where he here I want to show you. I want to show everybody this. I can take the picture and cut it out, but I can better show you his arsenal. Oh, let me share the screen.
Arsenal. That's what we're calling it now. You got an arsenal of weapons at 11 years old, bro. An arsenal. You know what I mean? And ready to shoot up a school.
Yeah, ready. I'm gonna show you the arsenal. Here we go. So these are the guns he had.
Those don't look real, but some of them might be.
And then these are all the knives he had.
He was really trying to get down. I mean, how do you have all this stuff your parents don't know?
That's what I'm saying, though. But he's 11. What's going on in his home? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a friend. She took in this kid, and she's like, "Yeah, he's just living this terrible life, and I want to give him a taste of some good life." And I'm like, "Nah, send him back with his family." Because the family was getting kicked out the place downstairs or whatever, but they're still living there because I guess the building's condemned. And she was like, "Yeah, man, he's already starting to sneak food to his mama." I was like, "I kicked that motherfucker out right then and there."
I mean, sneaking food to his mama?
Yeah, I mean, he's like 16, bro. If you sneaking food to your mama, what else you sneaking out my house? She took him out the house because the mom was like terrorizing the kids. You know what I'm saying? I was like, where's the other kid? She's like, with the grandma. I'm like, go send him to his grandma. I'm like, you don't need to be taking care of no 16-year-old kid.
Listen,
you don't even know him.
She must have kind of knew the kid a little bit.
Nah, she only lived there for like 5-6 months. They knew the kid. She knew that they're downstairs neighbor, but I'm like, nah, send him with his family.
Yeah, you gotta say he's too old. He's too old. I mean, but you can't be mad at the little kid for sneaking food to his mama, bro.
Yeah, you can.
To his mama.
What else is he sneaking out of there?
To his mama, though. Food.
To his mama. Hey, if she can talk,
might be hungry.
The mama should be feeding herself.
She should.
I don't ask my kids for money. I'm not gonna ask my kids to feed me.
But you're talking about, but you're talking about from your side of it though. You're a grown man. We're talking about from a grown side. This is a child thinking about his parent. You know what I mean? Even that parent is mean to you sometimes. You still love your parent because that's who you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your parents should be feeding you. You shouldn't be stealing food from the lady.
I agree. Your mom. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is,
if your mama got that kind of hold on you, she'd be like, "Hey, leave the door unlocked when they're all asleep so we can rob them." Okay, and then we can go have a better life in California, son. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, nah, get him out your house.
He got
to go.
Hey, he had to go. Let me said Fed slashes interest rates by 0.5 point an aggressive start to its first easing campaign in 4 years. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday enacted its first interest rate cut since the early days of the COVID pandemic, slicing half a percentage point off benchmark rates in an effort to head off a slowdown in the labor market. With both the jobs pictures and inflation softening, the central bank's Federal Open Market Committee chose to lower its key overnight borrowing rate by a half percentage point or 50 basis points, affirming market expectations that had recently shifted from an outlook for a cut half that size. I mean, so we gotta, with that, man, a lot of people are very, very happy that the feds cut the rates, because this affects borrowing and affects mortgage rates across the board. This affects borrowing basically by banks. What this is the Federal Reserve will set its interest rate basically as borrowing rate for banks, because banks borrow money from the Fed. The Fed prints the money, banks borrow money from it, and the less banks can borrow money for it, the less interest rates they're going to charge the consumer on most times. That's why interest rates went housing rates and stuff went up from they were down like an all-time low of like 2 point something percent and now they're sitting around like 6 or so. So it just basically took borrowing through the roof. Like you could at one point in time at 2%, you could get a say you can get a home that was like 275,000 or whatever for like $1,200. Now that same one's going for like $2,600. So it just makes your borrowing much, much harder when the Fed had to basically raise interest rates. But this was really the big thing that made inflation, made the economy, kind of made people suffer, because what happens is a lot of times people borrow money from their homes, they borrow money from different things. This is what keeps the economy kind of flowing right here. And after 2008, man, when 2008 came around, interest rates, they kind of had to start dropping interest rates. I mean, just so that they could start getting more money into the economy, because we went through a major housing crisis. Banks didn't want to lend money. Anybody like, fuck that shit. We ain't lending nobody money right now because we don't trust y'all. Everybody just defaulting on all these homes. All these loans is going bad right now. So the Fed had to come in and be like, here, man, we're going to give you all this money basically for free. Just lend it out to people. You know what I mean? You guys can make money. It'd be easy for y'all. Y'all pretty much making money off free money. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they kept rates low for a long time through Obama's presidency, which was 8 years, which they could have rose rates at that time. But I believe that at that time, when the transition between Obama and the next president, which ended up being Trump, they didn't want to raise interest rates. No president wants to be sitting when you raise interest rates, because it makes borrowing harder. It makes people have to go through, oh, we don't have any money, man. Where's the money? Everybody broke. This is why, because banks are not lending. Most people live off credit. That's what people are living off of. Let's just be real. And it's smart to live off credit when you have good credit and you have money sitting in other investments, but not when you live in paycheck to paycheck. But anyway, so Trump gets in office. He doesn't cut interest rates either, and he does a tax cut, and and he drives the debt up by $9 trillion in 4 years, which no other president had even done in 8 years. I think Obama came close, maybe did a little bit more than him in 8 years after the economic crisis he went through. And so when Biden gets in office, what happens? They start raising interest rates. Now everyone's like, oh, man, everyone's broke. Nobody got no money. It's because he had to stave off. They raised interest rates to stave off inflation. Inflation jumped to 9%. They said we got to get inflation back around 2.5%. That's a target rate for inflation. The Fed likes to see inflation at right there. And so they raise interest rates, which sucks money out of the economy. This is what they do. They start pulling money out of the economy. They don't want loose money policy anymore, because everything's starting to rise in prices.
I would like it for we could have the last week of June, the first week of August, and the whole month of July as tax-free time, and with no effects on us. I want it to be where we get, say there's 4 weeks in July, 6 weeks out the year where nobody has to pay tax on nothing. No tax on food, no tax on gasoline, no tax on groceries, no tax on your house, no tax on anything. Okay. I think if I introduce that law, everyone would vote for it. And it shouldn't be a thing where you don't pay tax for this long in this period. You can even buy a house in July. People just buy their house in July if you don't have to pay taxes on it. Perfect. But you don't have to pay tax on everything in July to just help Americans out. We complain we broke away from the British to not pay taxes. And we pay taxes on everything.
Over-taxation.
Over-taxation is what's happening right now. We need to have a period in our life where we just don't have to pay taxes. You know what I'm saying?
And in our country, we know that our taxes don't even really fill in what our country spends. We're like one of the worst. I think like Germany or France or one of those guys are one of the best at like how much tax dollars they bring in per how much money they spend as a country.
Yeah.
We're like one of the worst, man. Like our tax, even though we're being taxed the hell out of, our government spends like it does. It has, you know what I mean, an infinite amount of money, because in reality, off our backs, it does, until so everyone says the game's over. You know what I mean? So I mean, this Fed rates cut helps a lot, because even Donald Trump, he came out, he was like, either this is just a bad monetary policy, or the Fed's trying to sway the election, pretty much. He's like, either you guys are doing really bad, but no, this is regular stuff. This is what the Feds are supposed to do when they see the economy starting to do well, but it's laying dormant. You cut rates so that you can free up a little bit of capital, get people some money flowing again, so you can get things moving a little bit better. Because you got to imagine, when you free up capital, now a person can build that casino, or they can build these housing developments, or they can build this, you know what I mean, whatever other project, and they're doing it for a lot less than what they'd have to pay. Say if I took a loan out and the interest rates are fucking 7-8%, I mean, versus it being 5%, you're saving a lot of money with that. You know, you want people to, they said housing like applications jumped by 14% immediately when that happened. You know, which is small, but you know, I can see people are starting to talk this up. But I mean, no one wants to, like, Biden set with interest rates high they haven't cut rates in 4 years.
Yeah.
In 4 years. You know, I think the last time they cut rates was during COVID. And they're helping you out. That just tells you Trump that they did this to help you out when you allowed us to, you know, basically go through hell with COVID. They fucking cut rates when it was on you. You were happy with that then. You should have rose rates during your presidency and would have stopped inflation a lot sooner. Wouldn't have had that, because you imagine inflation jumped up a year after Biden was in office, and we all know a year after you're in office, you're still living off of the past administration's mess. And so, you know,
2 years.
You know what I mean? And so that's just a pretty big thing. I feel like, you know what I mean, right now with the Feds cutting rates, man, the stock market is on a run. I think the market right now is almost at 42,000, which is all-time high territory right now. You know what I mean? Like, with them knowing that the Feds are going to be dumping some more money in the market, people are going to have money. It's just, you know, it's a pretty big deal right now. And I felt like we needed to talk about that. I got another one too here. It said Earth will get another moon this month, but not for long. This month, Earth will grab itself a second moon in the form of a tiny asteroid, 2024 PT5. Unlike the moon, Earth's primary companion, which has accompanied our planet for around 4 billion years, this new mini-moon will stick around for just 2 months before it heads back to its home in the asteroid belt, trailing our planet and orbiting the sun. A team of scientists well-versed in the study of so-called mini-moon events identified the forthcoming gravitational capture event. They spotted the peculiar dynamic properties of the 2024 PT5 as they routinely monitored newly discovered objects for potentially interesting behavior.
Yeah, I remember they said a while back that, you know, this was coming. It was going to be so big that you're going to be able to see it with your eye. And so that's amazing it finally got here. I remember reading about that. You tell people about that like a year ago, and they're like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? But this is actually going to be pretty exciting. I wonder how it's going to affect the waves.
Yeah.
I wonder how it's going to affect our climate and everything. It could do a lot of damage to us. You know what I'm saying? Or it could just be something beautiful in the sky that be like, girl, I brought that second moon here just for you.
Just for you. You know what I mean? I mean, you look at this. This is not no regular shit, man.
No.
We got a whole nother, basically a moon that's just gonna come into. I've never heard no shit like this before in my life.
It could be an alien ship, and they're like, just look like an asteroid.
It's just
like, yeah, they're gonna be here. It's gonna be here for like a month. Then it's gonna take off. You know what I'm saying? Like, just look like an asteroid.
You know what I mean? This,
yeah,
like,
I'm saying though, like
this type of stuff right here should really get people thinking. Like we talked about the moons, the stars, and the motherfucking quasar. We've been talking about them. I mean, you have to really pay attention. Like, we're sitting here fighting about ancient text that we sit back and trying to transcribe and say who thought what. You got a whole nother moon about to start orbiting our planet that could really our gravitational pull pulled it into our orbit. You know what I mean? What if that thing? What if it had sucked it so far into our orbit that it ends up hitting our planet? Like, you know what I mean? Like an extinction level event. Who says
it might not? I mean, like, why would they tell you that, hey, this big meteor is going to come to Earth and it might stick and be a moon, or it might just hit you? If they told people that, we would just go crazy. Like, we're all going to die in a month.
You know why? Because people will realize that in reality, there's something else guiding all this shit other than what they've been told for a very long time. Yeah. There's a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of other things guiding what's going on here, that we live on a very, very fragile planet at any given time. I mean,
well, that's what the moon
we
is
should
there
be panicked.
for anyways. Yeah.
We should be panicked. We have no real idea what's going to happen with this.
Imagine all the people that aren't paying attention. They're going to be like, oh my God, there's a moon in it.
Don't look up. They said, don't look up.
They're going to be so scared. They would have to, and some people like, it's a sign. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be a hell of people that aren't informed that they're going to have a second moon. That's who I'm looking for. I'm like, oh, word?
That's a second moon, man. That's an extinction level event in our fucking gravitational pull.
It'll make you think about your life. It's
crazy. And then we're sitting back like, I mean, and they knew this was, you've had to know this was going to happen for a very long time.
They did. They knew for a while. I remember they reported on this. They said a meteor was going to come by Earth, and it's huge, and it's going to actually, you're going to be able to see it like with your own eyes. Huge, it's going to be there. Like they said it was going to be huge. Like it's
like a moon. Yeah. That's crazy.
And they said it's going to come close enough where you're going to actually be able to see this shit passing us. You know what I'm saying? I remember I told people that, but you know, when they tell you the information, you're just like, well, that's in the future, and I got to pay rent this morning. Yeah, I got things to do. Yeah, so we're gonna keep an eye on that one. Definitely. And then I want to do the Lebanon. What happened in Lebanon?
Oh, we got to do that. You go ahead. I want you to.
Yeah. So it says the article I have, it says Israel had a hand in manufacturing pagers that exploded in Lebanon. It says Israel had a hand in manufacturing of pagers that exploded on Hezbollah operatives, doctors, and nurses this week. With the type of supply chain interdiction, operations have been planned for at least 15 years, a U.S. intelligence source confirmed to ABC News. The CIA has long been reluctant to employ this tactic because the risk to innocence was too high, the source said. Planning for this attack involved shell companies with multiple layers of Israeli intelligence officers and their assets fronting a legitimate company that produced the pagers, the source confirmed to ABC News, with at least some of these doing the work unaware of who they were actually working for. So if people don't know, in Lebanon, about 2,000 pagers, when it exploded, they were turned into explosive devices. They exploded on people. They exploded on some soldiers. They exploded on doctors. A couple children were killed. A lot, I think it was 8 people were killed. 2,000 or 1,000 some odd were injured so far from these, because they put explosives and malware in these pagers. And then the next day they used cell phones to do it. And then when they used the cell phones, they said they got them from Taiwan. And Taiwan was like, nah. And then I got an article on that where Taiwan is basically like, no, we're going to sue you. I think how much was it for?
He said $1 billion.
Yeah.
And he should. He probably doesn't even have revenues of that right now, but he should because his company is done.
Yeah. Taiwan's Gold Apollo is going to sue Israel. Founder Husong Ching Huang told reporters his company did not make the pagers. Apollo Gold is going to launch a $1 billion lawsuit against the Israel government after they admitted Mossad had planted explosives in the devices in Tel Aviv.
You got to look at it like this, man. That company is done. It's over. Lebanon they stopped allowing pagers and stuff like that on planes. You can't even have that shit on planes right now because of it has exploded. I mean, that's crazy, man. Look, that's a war crime to use civilian technology in order to strike military targets. It's a war crime. They should be held liable for this. I mean, I hope to God that Taiwan, that whoever the company is, doesn't just take some Israeli dollars and then, some new markets and whatever else Israel can give them. I hope they take these fuckers to the box with this shit, because that's just crazy for them to do that. For you just to explode things on people and not know exactly where they are and not care about civilian casualties. I mean, it's just telling me what kind of a person you are. There's an official in Lebanon who came out, who came out and he said, he was like, basically, they're using this as a tactic of fear amongst our people. To sow discontent amongst our people, and they're doing it at a time that no one's going to pay attention because of the U.S. presidential election. And I've been saying this for a while. This is why they decided to. I believe that there's a large chance that they allow October 7th to happen. Like you said, they actually killed some of the people themselves and blamed it on Hamas. You know what I mean? And so they understood that during this time, this is a presidential election cycle. We know they can't focus on us. They gotta have to focus on who's gonna win.
Well, the whole thing is like, who's gonna stop and say something? Because if they do, they know AIPAC will just mount a financial fucking bombardment on them.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it's crazy. It's like, man, but that's a war crime, bro. I mean, I was like, you're blowing up civilians with pagers. I mean, that's
pagers, man. Dude's in the market. You see the dude just sitting there shopping the market. People around him all jump back. They blow him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other person's at a teller getting some money or something, or getting some food or something somewhere. Blow him up.
Israel had the picture of the dude that died on the motorcycle just leaned over. You know what I'm saying? With the pager.
The black dude's like, hey, somebody down here just got his hands blown off. And then we saw another guy right around him just get blown up as well. This is right in public areas, man. They don't care. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not only on top of that, the people should be able to file lawsuits again for them for mental health and whatever and dangers they were put into.
Terrorism. It's terrorism, bro. It's like,
period.
You know, it's crazy how it's like, yo, you can only, like they're telling Ukraine, you can only strike military targets. That's what you're supposed. Iran's only struck military targets, but now they're blowing up civilians. And the guy in the CIA said the reason we don't do it is because too many civilians could die. They were like, "Hey, we already monstering over here in Gaza. We got the rapists on TV." You know what I'm saying? Like
on TV. I mean, and you got Blinken, you got America sitting here saying, "Oh well, we heard about what's going on, but we urge Hezbollah not to attack."
No, Lebanon has a right to defend themselves.
Absolutely, but you know what we're gonna do? I mean, this is what I cannot stand about my own country right here. That we're so beholden, and that we're so, you know what I mean, like tied to Israel in such a way that we let them do anything, man,
anything they want. And that should strike fear in America's hearts, because if they let them do it, they're gonna let whoever they want do it to us.
Do it to us. I mean, you know what I mean? No, they don't care. But they just killed an American, blew her head off.
Blew her head off.
Didn't even care. Like, and we don't even talk about it. Oh, we're gonna let them investigate and see what happened with that.
Why you gonna let them? We know what happened.
Let the rapists investigate the rape. Pretty much.
I don't see nothing wrong here except for I didn't use a condom. And that's not even joking. But that's real. That's what they're doing. It's like, period. That's crazy, bro. Like, I mean, think about it. And then I remember you were saying off camera, like, that makes it so we can't even buy foreign gadgets.
Absolutely. They were saying, man, they were like, basically, they said that basically countries are going to have to start producing their own technologies now. I mean, they're going to have to start producing their own cell phones and pagers and whatever else, because they can't. Because if you get into it with somebody like China, now China can just start producing, you know, I won't say, you know, but they can just start producing pagers that blow up against you. They said what country goes through and actually checks every single box that comes onto their shores? They don't.
Yeah. And remember, I was telling you back before when they blew up dude in Iran, homeboy from Hezbollah, or not Hezbollah, but from Hamas, they said that they had, a Jewish company, or they own WhatsApp, and they put malware in it, and that's what led the missile to him.
Hanini.
You know what I'm saying?
Talking about Hanini.
Yes, yeah. Remember, I showed you the article, and you're like, nah, that can't be real. But now you look at it, and I'm like,
yeah, it seems a lot more logical right now. I mean, and at the same time, another thing I had said earlier too is that whoever gave them those pagers, they had to. I mean, you're not just putting them in all of them. You're putting them. I mean, maybe they did put them in all of them. Maybe they did, and maybe they just knew which ones these guys were communicating from.
Maybe they're you can't. If you have that many pagers, put it in all of them.
I mean, or you just know where these guys are getting them from.
Yeah.
And because like we talked about on the movie, on the television show The Wire, it was that Avon. That wasn't Barksdale. That was
Stringer Bell.
I thought
Stringer
that was it Stringer Bell?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I just rewatched The Wire for the seventh time this month and last month. Like I watched it. They Stringer Bell and them because they were using burner phones because they got hammed up on The Wire before. So they were sending Lamar, I think that was his name, and this girl to go get the pagers. Yeah. And so since they had to pay, or the burner phones, you know what I'm saying, the cops ended up having Bubbles, talk to the girl because he knew him. He knew her, and he's like, oh, I can get you hella phones. Won't you, and they sold them the phones they wanted to sell them.
You see what I'm saying?
And then they were able to get the wire on them.
And so this could be the same exact thing. Like whoever you've been buying the phone, whoever you've been buying these pagers from, because they're probably getting them from certain people.
Yeah,
that's who your mole is right there. That's who maybe, and whoever that maybe they're unbeknownst to them, they're getting these. They're probably getting the deal. Like, hey, I can get you these phones for cheaper. You're like, oh, okay, I'm selling them to these cats anyways, so I'm about to get my profit margin up. Maybe he doesn't know, but you know who you've been getting them from. So that's what there's somebody who understands and knows what's going on. But this right here, man, this is some maniacal shit right there, man. Yeah. That is some maniacal fucking shit to do something like that. And now everyone has to worry about that type of stuff. People who are just regular people who are outspoken. Now they can use your cell phone against you. You got to watch your phone now, because they can just get it. They can get a ghost phone and just, you know what I mean, or whatever you want to call her.
No, they can just probably in your phone right now. You know what I'm saying? Man. It could be in your charger. Think about it. Sometimes you touch your phone and it gets hot. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff is in there. You could have downloaded any kind of app. You could have downloaded WhatsApp, like I'm saying, and it could have something in there to burn your phone and burn it next to you. Like, no one is safe. This is. I mean, just because it happened in a different country, don't act like it's not going to happen here. Because people are already trying to figure out how to make it happen.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes sense. You know what I mean? It makes sense to make something like that happen. You could just blow a person up by their phone and you know, oh, it's an accident. The phone just blew up his phone. Now I don't believe any of that shit no more. You mean? This shit was intentional, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
And we're going to keep y'all updated, man. Uncommon courtesy. We're going to see y'all next time. Wait, pause. Hold on. Don't forget to catch us every Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, live. You know what I'm saying? Tune in, come check in with us, see how we doing. We want to see how y'all doing.
Absolutely.
We out.